רחבה מאוד.
Very nice. Now it is on. It's on. It's on for sure. Okay. Alrighty. These guys never get any older. How is that? They say the same age. And they sing the same age, which is pretty more. One, two.
אשתחווה אליך
עבדך ענני באמת אישך ענני באמת אישך באמת אישך.
One, two, there we go. Shanah Tovah. How does it feel to be back in the sanctuary? I want to welcome, and I know you do want to welcome too, the first time in 2 years, Erez, Ita, Eyal, and Doron, all the way from Israel. They're triple vaccinated, they quarantined, and we all got tested today. We don't know the result. No, I'm just kidding. We all got negative results today, and so we feel comfortable being up here and without masks. We're at least 30 feet away. We measured. That second row is 30 feet away from the closest person. But we're just so thrilled and so happy to have you here. And I want to acknowledge and welcome and give a huge hakarat hatov, a debt of public gratitude, to Senior Rabbinic Intern Steve Axinn, who is joining us on the bima for the entirety of these high holiday services. So thank you, Steve, and of course, welcome to all of you who make this sanctuary, who make this space so incredibly special and so incredibly sacred.
And let me add, Shalom, Shalom, l'rachok v'lakrov amar Adonai. Shalom, Shalom to you who are far away and you who are close at hand. As night falls and as the month of Tishrei begins in the Jewish calendar, we greet you from within this beautiful sanctuary. And whether you are watching us on Zoom, from wherever you may be, or you're here with us, let this year 5782 begin right now on this Rosh Hashanah Eve. And this greeting I'm offering is not just a geographic one. We greet you also whether you have been distant from Judaism or you are observant and a regular participant in our services and the rituals of our faith. During this next 10 days, we will do everything possible, everything in our power to make these services and your prayers as spiritually meaningful as possible. It is really an honor for me to join with you in praise and in prayer and in meditation and contemplation that is so important for all of us on these Yamaim Noraim, these days of awe.
So whether you're here in our sanctuary or, of course, at home, there are 2 cameras up there. You may not be able to see it here, but people are watching us right there, and I see their faces on Zoom now. If you're at home and you feel like you want to light the candles with us, please do. Otherwise, you can just watch as we do it here. But we will think of each and every single one of you as we kindle the flame and we keep our hope alive, our light alive. And there's a blessing that we say when we do something for the first time, and that is the Shehechianu blessing, the blessing that asks, let's see if this is going to work. Yes, it will. And by the way, there was Eve who brought us the lighter. Eve is our superstar in the office who quite literally does everything. So the blessing that we say is Shehechianu v'kiyimanu lazman hazeh. We thank God for helping us to arrive at this moment in peace and safety, and of course, above all, in health. So the choir and I will sing Shehechianu now.
לזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה
Turn now to page 5 and to the Baruch Hu prayer. And just by way of introduction, for those who are not fully familiar with the meaning of the Baruch Hu prayer, it's a formal invitation to pray with this congregation. When I was a child, I thought the who meant WHO, or who, bless who, who's blessing? And now that I'm no longer a child and I've become an adult, I think that's kind of a profound question. Just who's doing this blessing? Are we being blessed by God? Are we blessing God? Does God ever need our blessing? We are the ones who are seeking this blessing, it seems to me. And so, my understanding, which I offer to you with humility, is that when we say Baruch Hu, we are really saying that we're unable to even grasp the majesty of God. We know the prayers we are going to utter now are in praise of a Holy One we call HaKodesh Baruch Hu, the Holy One who is blessed, and we hope God will in turn see fit to bestow a blessing on us, God's people, who despite all our flaws, all our failings, we turn to God now and we seek that blessing. So please rise with me and with the cantor and the choir. Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We may be seated. Continue on page 5 with the first of the two blessings before the Shema. Ma'avir yom, u'mevi laila, u'mavdil ben yom u'ben laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, elachai v'kayam, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני. אהבת עולם את ישראל. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, ועבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני. אוהב עמו ישראל. If you joined our services outside, as I know a few of you did just over an hour and a half ago, you would have heard me say that wherever we are is holy. We create moments of holiness, whether it's out in our parking lot, here in our sanctuary, or even on Zoom at home. And no matter where we are, scattered around the universe, there are a few words that can bind us and unite us. There are a few words that can make us feel that we are a community. And those are the words of the Shema. So we'll sing the Shema together, focusing on our breath as we exhale, Shema, Shema, letting the tensions of the week go, creating a moment of holiness. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. והיה. Continue privately with the passages of the Shema, page 7. ויאמר להם אשר אמור לדבר ולשאול רציתי אל תדחילו. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת, ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל, לך אנו שירה ושמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורתי עוד עושה חסד.
מלכותך ראו בניך, פוקע ימין לפני משה, זה לי ענו ואמרו
אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
יפדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני.
Prayer is one which I would like to ask you to engage with me in a little guided meditation. So please, if you will, close your eyes and focus on your inner light. Guard us while we sleep. Awaken us to life and to you, O God. Protect us when we go out and when we come in, and make us aware of you. And above all, give us peace. Peace within and a peace in the world.
Shalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Ushmor tzeitzenu Shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Ushmor tzeitzenu Shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu
Page 10.
תקראו בחודש שופר, בכסל ליום חגנו, כי חוק לישראל הוא. משפט לאלוהי יעקב.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל פגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן.
אמן. יש ברבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שם מלך ורשע בריחו
לילה ולילה מן כל ברכתה בשירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה.
אמן ועלמא ויאמרו אמן.
We now arrive at the silent Amidah on page 11. This prayer and the rituals with which it is associated is so important to the rabbis of the Talmud that they simply refer to it as hatfilah, as the prayer, the prayer. Now there's a custom that you may have seen when people recite this Amidah. First of all, Amidah means standing, so when I get through talking, you'll stand up and we'll say this prayer together. But the first thing you'll notice many people do is they take 3 steps backwards, starting with their right foot, and then they take 3 steps forward, again starting with their right foot. And when they're finished with the prayer and they are withdrawing, they take 3 steps backwards, but this time starting with their left foot. So what's this all about? There are many, many different explanations, and I'll offer you one that I happen to be fond of. The Amidah is a time for an intensely personal communication with God. It is intimate and it is private. And you don't have to follow the paragraphs in the prayer book. This is a time for you to pour out your heart, and we believe that God's ear is open to you. So the first thing we do is we take 3 steps backwards to step out of the secular material world that we often inhabit. And then we take 3 steps forward, again on our right foot, our strong foot, because we are now drawing into the presence of HaKodesh Baruch Hu. When we are done, and we know that we must leave, we do so reluctantly, and that is why we use our left foot instead of our right foot. That's our weaker foot. We're withdrawing from the presence of the God that cares so much about us that God will listen to what we say. So please join me now. I hope you will now step out of this world by standing up and doing what you can with those 3 steps to recite the silent Amidah.
Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen yadadai, yadai dai, yadai dai dai dai, yai Shana Tovah, everyone. It's been 2 years. You got to do a little bit better than that. Shana Tovah. There we go. I hope the folks at home could hear that. We were a little far from the microphones, but everyone at home is saying it. Everyone here is saying it. Boy, what a blessing it is to be with all of you virtually, in reality, which is pretty hard to imagine. I heard this story of a pious man who had reached the age of 105. Suddenly, he stopped going to shul, just stopped going. Alarmed by the elderly gentleman's absence after so many years of faithful attendance, the rabbi went to go and see him. The rabbi said, well, Saul, you look like you're in perfect health. You're active. You're still going to play bingo. You hit the casino. Why, the rabbi asked, after all these years, don't we see you at services anymore? Well, the old man looked around and lowered his voice and he said, I'll tell you, Rabbi, when I got to be 90, I expected God to take me any day. But then I got to be 95, and then 100, and then 105. So I figured that God is very busy and he must have forgotten about me and I don't want to remind him. Indeed, God has been very busy. Over these past 2 years, we've avoided coming to this place that brings us consolation and comfort, not because we believed that God was too busy to hear our prayers, but because we needed to preserve our health and protect that which we value most, our lives. In Hebrew, the term for this is pikuach nefesh, which we interpret as saving life, but the word for nefesh, the word nefesh really means vital spirit. And that is what I want to invite us to think about tonight. That vital spirit, our collective and communal spirit that's been fractured. Fractured by a disease that continues to wreak havoc on our world, fractured by political strife, broken by natural disasters, including one that hit just a little too close to home a few days ago. And as we sit here, some of us for the first time in 2 years, we do everything that we can to protect our lives. We get vaccinated, we wear masks, we've been tested today. And of course, we respect social boundaries. But what about our nefesh? What about our spirit? How do we protect that? Is God too busy to involve God's self in making sure that our spirit stays intact and alive? Do the demands we place on ourselves at work, at home, in business, with our children, do those demands suppress our spirit? 18th century Rabbi Simcha Bunim of Pesischa in Poland said that we should all keep 2 pieces of paper in our pockets. In the right pocket, a piece of paper with the words, "I am a speck of dust." And in the left pocket, a piece of paper that reads, "The world was created for me." My friends, the power of our collective spirit depends heavily on our individual responsibility. The idea that the world may have been created for us, but if we are alone, if we are divided, if we vilify our differences rather than embrace them, we may as well be dust left to blow in the wind. When we entered the doors tonight or turned on our computer screens, we came to this each with our own prayer, as individual pieces of dust. Each one with our own reason for needing to feel a connection. Each one of us with our own reason for craving, for yearning to be closer to God. On this Rosh Hashanah, as we enter this new year, 5782, let our prayer be that our dust kicks up like a mighty wind that reaches the heavens. Let us remember that the world was indeed created for us and that our spirit, our nefesh, emerged from the depths like a pack of mighty lions, fierce and unwavering in our commitment to community. And unlike the man in the story I shared at the beginning, who didn't want to remind God of his presence, let us remind God that we are here and we aren't going anywhere. We are here as a family. We are here as friends. We are here as a Jewish Community Center of Harrison community, family. And we are here with one voice, with one song, one nefesh, one spirit. And so on this Rosh Hashanah, may our spirit be felt throughout these high holidays as we declare our praise for all that is just and for all that is good. Shana Tovah. Invite us all to rise for Kaddish Shalem. Of course, if you are not able to rise, that's okay. You can stay right where you are. Kaddish Shalem, using the familiar melody exclusive to these high holy days. We are on page 19. Yitkadal ve'yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
בעול למה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואימרו
אמן. יש מרבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה יתברך, יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל.
שמי דקודשה,
שמי דקודשה לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמידן בעולמה ואימרו
אמן.
תתקבל אצל אדון ובאותו לכל בית ישראל קדם אבוהון דיבי שמעיה ואימרו
אמן.
יש למה רבה מן שמעיה וחיים עלינו, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואימרו עושה שלום עם רומם, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואימרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומם, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
ואימרו
We may be seated.
To which I might add, wow. We're going to look
All
now and turn to page 22. Just 3 lines from the bottom of page 22. It says in the Hebrew, Kol Hanshama Hallelujah, Hallelujah. This is very fitting because it's the last line of the last psalm in the Psalter, Psalm 150. And what it says is that not just all humanity praise God, but all that breathes, all animals, all plants, all that is alive praises God in its way. And we join with the rest of the world in praising God in our own way. Now the cantor will continue with line Daled, the last two lines on page 22.
So as the choir sings, we'll reprise the melody that we sang at the beginning. And you can join in with Yai Dai Dai, or with whatever melody your heart feels while we sing. Yai Dai, Yai Dai Dai Dai, Yai Dai Dai Dai, Kol Hanshama Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol haneshama te hallelujah, hallelujah. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai. Can you try? Let's try that together. Yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai.
We turn now to the concluding prayer of the service, or almost concluding.
Almost.
The Aleinu. This is a fascinating prayer, very controversial prayer. It really comes from the Rosh Hashanah service. It comes from the beginning of the repetition of the Amidah, which we will do tomorrow in the Malkiot section, when the cantor chants the repetition of the Amidah. The first section is a series of short declarations about how it is our obligation to offer praise to the one God who has not made us like the other nations. And that has always been a controversial statement. Its historical form included another verse that said that the other nations bow to vanity and to emptiness and pray to a God who cannot save them. We've deleted that verse from most modern Machzorim, including from this one, but it is still said in some synagogues in this country and elsewhere. The second paragraph, the one that does not have the beautiful melody that you will soon hear, is a prayer for a time when all the world will come to worship the one true God. That's a powerful message. It's usually overlooked, and that's a shame. That message is saying to the world, no matter what, we affirm our faith in the one true God and in our having been chosen as the bearers of that truth. That's why we love this prayer. The Aleinu is on page 25.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'kol l'ateit gedula le'yotzer breshit שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נותן שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומשה יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום וישבת אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת. אין עוד על כן נקווה לך אדוני אלוהינו לראות מהרה בתפארת עוזך. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני מלך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
The mourner's Kaddish is on page 26. Mourners, please join with me. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra kirutei, v'amlich malkutei, v'chayechon u'yomechon u'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv, v'imeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mi'orach le'olam u'lomei olmaya, yitborak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnasei, v'yithadar v'yithalei v'yithalal shmei dekudusha v'yichu, le'ela mikol birkata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imeru amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru amen. Hosei shalom v'romav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imeru amen.
Amen. You know, Steve, I'm looking out and I see our president, Marty Rogowski, sitting there, and I know, Marty, that you want to offer some words of welcome to everyone here. So we'll call Marty up for some announcements. He's got to get through the barrier first, though. Make sure you have your ticket, Marty.
Good evening, everybody. It's a good thing I didn't write out any comments because I forgot my glasses and I wouldn't be able to read them anyway. So let me just say welcome to all of you and everybody at home on Zoom or Facebook or whatever. This has been a difficult past year. COVID has affected all of us in so many different ways. Last year, as we all know, none of us were here. And even though Cantor Marcos' pre-recorded service got very high marks, we were hoping to do better this year. And your leadership decided that we just had to try to find a way for those who wanted to come to the sanctuary to be able to do that. So, we need to be vaccinated and wear our masks, but I'm delighted that we did find that way. I'm happy that so many of you are here tonight, and hopefully you'll be here for the rest of the higher holiday services. And for those of you who are home, that's terrific. we all have to find our own way to participate, but we did want to find a way to allow those of you who wanted to come here in person to be here. And I particularly want to welcome our choir. It's great to see you live and in person. Of course, last year, Cantor Marcos worked out the way with the technology, to have the choir join us from Israel. But of course, it's so much nicer to have you here. So welcome, good to see you again. And let me say, I will be speaking longer during Yom Kippur, right? Right, Cantor? Our director and producer gives me my marching orders, so I'll be able to address you again over Yom Kippur. But I really just wanted to welcome all of you, wish you all a healthy and happy New Year, and particularly in case I forget Yom Kippur, to thank Cantor Marcos, because again, he has produced and directed. He has a lot going on, but he was able to put all this together. And I also wanted to thank our Rabbi-in-waiting, Steve Axinn, and we'll have Steve with us over the holidays, and several other people will be helping leading our services. But again, a great thanks to Cantor Marcos for everything he's been doing for us. So with that, again, a healthy and happy New Year to all of you, and I'll see you again over the holidays.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Marty. This is just a technical note for anyone watching on Zoom. If for whatever reason Zoom goes down, or if there's an issue with our cameras, you can also watch this service that's being live streamed on our website, on our YouTube channel, and on Facebook. You can find all of the information on our email. Thank you to Live Control. Live Control is the system that we use. There's a remote operator somewhere in California. We're working these cameras. I wanted to play a joke with them and tell them we'd start services at 3 a.m. their time, but I didn't. So if there's an issue with Zoom, please just go on our YouTube or on our website, and you can continue watching the service there. The resolution is a little bit higher, and the audio quality is a little bit better, but of course I know you want to see each other on Zoom, and that's just fine too. That's it for my announcement. Steve, we got to do Kiddush.
Well, I think you should do Kiddush.
All right.
You've got the God in front of you.
We've got the Kiddush. This is for everyone here and for everyone at home. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'charav mikolam v'romemanu mikol hashon v'kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'titen lanu b'avad yom hazikaron hazeh yom etruah מקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ודברך אמת וקיים לעד ברוך אתה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ מקדש ישראל 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 ויום הזיכרון. And of course, we're making Kiddush for the first time in this new year. We include the very same blessing that we did at the beginning. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. L'chaim.
We just have one more piece of liturgical business to do, and then we can all go home, and that is Psalm 27 on page 27. Adonai Ori Be'ishi.
לולי האמנתי לראות בטוב אדוני בארץ חיים, מקווה לאדוני חזק ויאמיץ ליבך וקווה אל אדוני.
לשנה טובה תיכתבו, לשנה טובה תיכתבו, לשנה טובה לשנה טובה תיכתבו, לשנה טובה תיכתבו, לשנה טובה תיכתבו, ותכתבו. לשנה טובה תיכתבו, לשנה טובה תיכתבו, לשנה טובה תיכתבו,
That song was written and composed and arranged by Itamar. Shanah Tov, everyone. Sweet New Year. See you tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Shanah Tovah.